7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? I'm pretty sure my internet's working fine. The wire seems to be working all right, but at any point, it might go again. How are we all doing? It is the 1st of November. That is October done. 9 games for United, 6 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat against City. I'll be honest, that was a pretty damn good October. But football comes thick and fast. We've got Sociedad on Thursday, and Anthony Martial is back in full training for United. And I'll tell you what, that is a very, very timely boost. He is Erik Ten Hag's first choice striker, and we played 95% of the season without him. But he's back and ahead of a game where we have to win by 2 or more clear goals to top the group. Otherwise, we're going to be facing a Europa League knockout tie against Barcelona, Ajax. You know it's going to be Ajax. I mean, that's just the way the football gods work. But it'll be tough. So we want to finish top of that group. So I'll speak about Anthony Martial's return to training. I'll speak about a few other things. We'll speak about Marcus Rashford and a contract extension. I'm going to speak about Graeme Souness in a little bit of detail today. But I'll tell you what, I pulled the gun out and I went at Jamie Carragher yesterday. I think I'm going after Graeme Souness today. I feel in the mood for swinging. Not that sort of swinging, but at pundits, because they're kind of annoying me, man. Kind of annoying me. I've been sitting there for a long time just getting pissed off by them, but I feel now I just want to go after them. But look, who's down there in the comments? Paul Hogan, good morning to you. Carl Perkins on Facebook, I see you there. T, I can see you there. And we've got Josh, Paula, good morning to all of you. Anthony Farr, Jordan Garrett, Carl Dale, Josh Stanley. Marin, I can see you there. Anuj, Gungshi, as always. Good morning to the Godfather. Rafizel, Matt Stan, Christian, the Favics, Norfolk and good. It always puts a smile on my face, that name. And Helgon, good morning to all of you. 1st of November, let's kickstart this November in the best way possible. I mean, that's where the podcast. Another episode, what more could you want? I mean, you could want a lot more than that. But this is episode 25 of the podcast. And I'll tell you what, it's basically a Lisandro Martinez love story. And us asking whether or not we should start calling Lisandro Martinez a honey badger. You have to listen to the podcast to understand why. I got a DM on Twitter and it made me laugh. So we spoke about it. It's a good podcast. We obviously speak through the games against Sheriff, the game against West Ham, and the continuing sense of momentum that seems to be sweeping through United. Game by game, bit by bit, step by step. We have been heading in the right direction since Erik Ten Hag came in, and now it's just coming through, and it's gathering pace, isn't it? Really is gathering pace. And for somebody like me who thrives off positivity, negativity is not my currency. It really isn't. But that's just been United for the last, I don't know how many years. Jeez, it's not really been my sort of vibe, my sort of cup of tea. But watching United at the moment, I tell you what, I really am enjoying it. Rick, I didn't order a new camera cable. I fixed it. I'm pretty sure it's fixed. You know, famous last words. Honestly, within the next 5 minutes. Next 5 minutes it's going to go. But I think it's just being temperamental. Going down here, I'm seeing quite a lot of chat in the comments, which must mean only one thing. And it is indeed. It's Eric Kelleher. That's a new name. Well, it's either a new name, but I don't think I've ever seen you give memberships before, Eric. Well, you might have. But he's gifted 5 memberships again. Honestly, I need to find out new ways to react to this. Your generosity continues to blow me away, and it's the definition of why this community is a genuine community. Gyro, you've got one. Farah's busy. Andrew, Neil, Vlad, and SK, you are the lucky 5 here this morning. Eric is indeed amazing. Anybody called Eric right now, big up to you. Tyler, you're asking Sam, do you think Martial will stay fit? Oh, I'll speak about that in a bit. We don't know, but Martial is back in training. Now, if I did that, Matt, it would be horrendous. My beard is not, it's definitely not camera friendly. That's for sure. But Martial's back in training. That's got to put a smile on your face, man. It's certainly going to put a smile on, well, it puts a smile on Martial's face. He's buzzing. He's absolutely buzzing. And I think all of us should be as well. Martial is, part of me kind of steps aside when I'm speaking about Martial, in the idea that I don't let myself get too involved because I'm pretty sure I know what's coming. I'm pretty sure I know that he's going to get injured and we're going to be left disappointed again. Because that's a cycle that's just repeated itself. You know, month after month, season after season. It's the same cycle with Anthony Martial. Now we're going to try and see whether or not this is a different cycle. I hope, by the way, saw there was an article from Get French Football News this morning from L'Equipe out in France saying that Martial's got 2 weeks to prove himself fit to be part of the French national team for the World Cup. I hope not. I mean, France is so littered with quality up front. I don't think you need to be taking a half-fit and potentially injured Martial to the World Cup. He might not be happy about that. He would prefer to go to the World Cup, but it certainly suits Manchester United if he doesn't go to the World Cup. Manchester United confirming that he's back in full training. So what we're going to do now quickly is take a look at the training photos that were released about 25 minutes ago of everyone back in training. We'll have a conversation about the important points that we can see from the photos. Suman, don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Casemiro and Malacia, Malacia, he was so good for those few games, wasn't he? Those 4 games after Brentford. And then he had a couple of wobblers. I think it was against Everton. I think it was against Omonia. Shaw came back in, and then Shaw has been Shaw reborn again. Bit like Tellez helped rebirth Shaw last year. Malacia seems to have done the same thing this year, and then some, because Shaw looks even better than he did last year. I think so. Joseph, nice to see you there. So that's an old school name. Haven't seen you around in a while. Great to have Martial back. Who thought we would have been saying that a year ago? Indeed, man. Indeed. I know there's 4 games for United. We've got Sociedad on Thursday, big game. Villa on Sunday. I would argue that's a big game, given the fact that Chelsea play Arsenal and Spurs play Liverpool. Huge opportunity. Then we've got Villa midweek in the Carabao Cup. And then I think we finish with Fulham away. I think that's the last 4 games before the World Cup. Carl, you're saying Martial will definitely be out for the season if he goes to the World Cup. I mean, let's hope not. But it's exciting. I genuinely think... Oh, done the same thing again. I will speak about that Carragher video. Don't you worry about that. It's good to have him back, man. Of all the players in the preseason, it was Martial. The 2 players in the preseason, I think, who impressed the most were Martial and Dalot. We've seen the season that Dalot's gone on to have. But Martial has just not been there. He's had hardly any minutes in the Premier League. Came off the bench, scored 2 against City. Started against Everton. Got an assist for Anthony's opener before he went off injured. If he can... that's the classic question with Martial. If he can stay fit. There's always a caveat you have to add to the beginning of a sentence when talking about Anthony Martial. Whether or not this one... Because it wasn't even the same injury that kept him out. I think it was a hamstring injury. I'm not sure it was hamstring. But it certainly wasn't his back. Whatever injury he had at the start of the season, it wasn't his back. And then he came to Everton and then he did his back. And he's been out for a month since then. So they're 2 different injuries. But look, I hope he's back because I think we need all the attackers we can get on Thursday. We're going away to Sociedad. Now, they might have lost their last 2 games in La Liga, which is good news for United. But we have to win by 2 or more clear goals to go through as group winners. It really, really is going to be a good one. Gnome de Geur. I'm going to call you Gnome. Martial definitely should not play for the national team. And Van der Beek seems like the best substitute for Martial's best abilities, playing others in. I wouldn't say that Van der Beek is the best substitute for Martial. I don't think so anyway. But we definitely will be speaking about Van der Beek in the preview for the Villa game on Sunday because, of course, Bruno Fernandes is suspended. Dean, nice to see you joining there. Let me know where you're watching from, dude. Any news on Varane? There's no news on Varane at this moment in time. And I'll be honest, ladies and gents, I wouldn't try and get an update on Varane anytime soon. Manchester United's, he won't be playing before the World Cup, which means the first game he could be back for is the 27th of December. That's a long old time away. Long old time. So I suppose we'll know a little bit more when we find out what France's squad is for the World Cup and whether or not Varane's involved in that. I'll read a couple more of your comments out down here, and then we'll head to the training photos and take a look through those. I think we also have to consider, Cezanne, just how much more intensive Ten Hag's training is. I'm sure that's having an effect. Do you mean in terms of the fitness, in terms of the injuries? Probably a little bit of both, I suppose. Martial's ability is not in question. Yeah, I don't think it is either. I agree with that. Pre-season in December, yet we've got a training camp that's been arranged and confirmed. I'll speak about that later in the show. Will Ronaldo play on Thursday? Well, we'll speak about that towards Thursday. Move on from Martial. Mate, we've hardly had the chance to speak about Martial for months and months and months. There he is. Alex, I saw you there. How you doing, buddy? I think your dad dropped me a message on DM yesterday. Everyone say, send your well wishes to Alex, who's just come out of surgery. I think he's had surgery on his hip. So I hope you're well, Alex. It's good to have you joining in, man. And I hope you're doing all right. And I think down there we've got Godfather Gunkshy being the Godfather again. Basically Al Pacino. He is. He really. No, Marlon Brando. Marlon Gunkshy. Down there gifting 10 memberships. What Don? This is me every single time I see Gunshy's name. Let me see if the lucky 10 are here. Mr. Cooper, Nigel O'Connor, Kastub, you've got one. The Reckoning. Sean Walker, Patrick Kibet, Sporting Future, John Johnston, Ines Fushi. I see your name before, Ines. Christopher Ellis. Good morning to all of you. Everybody say thank you very much to Gungshi, who is indeed a legend of the game. A legend of the game. And I think that's Marlon Gungshi. I'm taking that. Marlon Gungshi. And you've got a cat as well, which seems like the sort of thing that Godfathers would have. Or villains. Maybe you're a Bond villain. One of the two. There's a comment there from Ant that just went there. Yeah, it is part of the frustration you've got with Martial because we've seen him before. In that first season when he broke through as a teenager, that goal against Liverpool, I think he got 18 goals in that year under Van Gaal. Then he went muted under Mourinho. Then he burst back into the scene under Solskjaer. I think it was 19-20 season when it was Martial, Rashford and Voldemort who got 70 goals between them. And we're like, we've got it. We've cracked it. We know what we're going to have up front. And then, well, it's just not really worked out since then. Gunshy's effectively Alessandro, isn't he? The butcher of United People's TV. Ashish, look, you've been lucky enough to be gifted one. Do you think I think we definitely can get two past him on Thursday. I'll save the majority of the conversation about Real Sociedad for the preview that's going out tomorrow. But let's take a look at the training photos. Let's see who's back in training. See if there's any stories here. Casemiro and Malacia. There they are. Good lads. Both of them. Casemiro, man. I love Casemiro. Ronaldo there with Martinez. Very nice. Wan-Bissaka. The ghost of Wan-Bissaka. He's there. He's not a ghost. He's actually there. Martin Dubravka. Well, I bet he's glad he's joined Manchester United. There he is. There's Martial with a big smile on his face. Fred looking very posy. Looks like a Boohoo advert. A couple of lads back in training there. There's Anthony Langer, who I don't think will be starting on Thursday. Maybe you'll see Harry Maguire start. Depends on the fitness, I suppose, of Victor Lindelof, whether he's going to be back from illness. Christian Eriksen, well, he'll definitely start on Thursday. McTominay, Shoretire, and Van der Beek there. A couple of the younger lads training there. I think that's Zidane Iqbal. We're back to us, Scott McTominay. There's Alejandro Garnacho there on the right-hand side. I don't think Garnacho will start on Thursday. I think he'll definitely be part of the squad. And certainly that directness will be good if Sociedad are playing that deep line, because they know that if they, as long as, I mean, I suppose they will actually when you think about it. Sociedad will play with a deeper line and probably hit us on the counter-attack because they know that as long as they don't lose that game by 2 goals or more, they're top of the group. It's a good position for them to be in. Any photos of Ronaldo with Maguire? I don't think there are. There's Ronaldo and Maguire, not together. There's Martial. Looks like Martial's, of course, he's training with the younger lads there, or the players that didn't play on Sunday because they are going to be having like a warm-down training session yesterday. You can see that. It's Facundo Pellistri, who hasn't yet played. But yeah, there's not really that many stories, I suppose, from the training photos. I'm going to ask you I'm going to answer a few of your questions you're saying down here. Do the bookings in Europe reset after this round? I think they normally do, don't they? It's a bit like after, is it up till December? That's where the 5 bookings, and it'll get you a suspension. But after December, it goes up to 10, I think. I think the same thing exists in Europe, but I'm not completely and utterly sure on that. Do you believe if Maguire's in the team, Bruno should still keep the armband? Well, no, because Maguire is the club captain on paper. So if Maguire's in the team, Maguire's got the armband. That's the rules. That's the way it goes. What else are you saying down here? Martial and £75 million for Harry Kane next season. Ian, funny you should mention Harry Kane. We had a little conversation, a bit of a debate about Harry Kane on the podcast this week. It's not really a debate. It's like, I mean, of course, we'd love to sign Harry Kane. But how much would he cost? just can't really see United. Oh, wow, I've actually realised I've spelt Martial wrong. I think that's the first ever spelling mistake I've done. Damn. Martel. Looks like Martel's back in training. Oh, dear, Sam. Sack yourself. Absolutely sack yourself. I'm not smiling at myself. I'll tell you what, I'll quickly speak about this video I did yesterday. I kind of sat on the fence with, not sat on the fence, actually. That's a lie. With Jamie Carragher, I've been going after him every single game that Martinez continues to put in an absolute stonk of a performance. And I just went for him yesterday because I couldn't be bothered to wait anymore. It felt like the right time to be having that conversation. And yeah, judging by your reaction to the video, I think you enjoyed that video as well, as much as I enjoyed making it. And I tell you what, as I said, because the gun is there and it's loaded, we're going at it again today. And there's one person firmly in the crosshairs. And that man is this dinosaur, Graeme Souness. Absolute dinosaur that he is. And this is something I want to say here. Again, I think I spoke to you about this yesterday because I've been wrongly accused of having agendas. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what an agenda looks like, right? And I explained it here. Because Graeme Souness is so transfixed on his position on Martinez. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter how good he is. And he is, right now, one of the best players in the Premier League, certainly on form. And he is one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. He has shown that. But he's so fixated on his mindset that nothing will change that. Now, that is the definition of an agenda. And that's why I'm going to go after Graeme Souness today. Yesterday was all about Jamie Carragher. Today, it's all about Graeme Souness. And yeah, quite a lot of people, and this is a lot of the times is what I've done. I just ignore it, because if you don't ignore it and you respond to it, you give airtime to people who don't deserve airtime, and that is definitely the case with Graeme Souness. But I also think it also carries its own danger of letting this twat steer the narrative and the conversation of maybe non-United fans as to how Martinez is playing. Because not everyone's going to be watching United every week. United fans are. But I want to come out in defense of Lisandro Martinez and Casemiro. He's gone after Casemiro as well. He, quote unquote, called Casemiro a steady Eddie. I'm like, man, fair enough, Graeme. It's worked. You've riled me up enough that I'm going to do a video on it. But what a pleb. What an absolute... There's no... It's the easiest way to get heard online is to just be an idiot. If you shout loud enough as an idiot, you're going to get heard. But I did that video yesterday on Carragher. I'm going to do this video today on Souness, and I'm kind of going to draw the line at the end of those two because they are definitely the two most guilty people. I'll tell you what, Gabby Abonahor, I can throw him into that as well. Jesus. Martinez for the Ballon d'Or. Well, the way he's playing at the moment, Joseph, he can definitely be in that shortlist. I know it's what they do for attention. I absolutely know that, Jason. But I feel at this point, I want to call it all out on Graeme Souness. I've done one on Jamie Carragher, one on Graeme Souness, and I'm going to draw the line under it on both of those. Because, yeah, I can't be asked to ignore it anymore. I really want to just call it out because it's just getting on my nerves. It's really getting on my nerves. But in terms of the good news there about Martial being back in training, I think that's a really good thing. He's going to be now in full training for Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, I imagine, will be a lighter training day ahead of the game on Thursday, but 2 full days on the grass. Maybe he didn't train on Sunday, obviously, because we had a game. But let's see whether or not he's going to be fit. I don't think he'll be fit to start. I imagine he'll be traveling to Spain. I imagine he'll be on the bench. That's what my guess is. So I'll save that for the game tomorrow. But Marcus Rashford, he'll definitely be on that plane. And I think he'll definitely be in that starting 11. Sigmund, you're saying, I remember being at 13 watching Souness get on Sky Sports hard cut. I don't understand how he's still employed by anybody. Well, he's been sacked by Sky this year, isn't he? And TalkSport is the place where shit like that exists. I'm not sure if I've ever told you this, actually. I may as well say it now. TalkSport reached out to me. Must have been, I don't know. Let's say like 2 months ago, maybe. Reached out and wanted me to be a guest on their show. And I said, I appreciate you reaching out. But I said, I have absolutely no intention of ever going on TalkSport. So there's no point messaging me again because my stance won't change. And lo and behold, they haven't messaged me again. TalkSport is just the pits. It's full of dinosaurs whose currency is negativity, whose currency is just riling people up. It's a bit like political propaganda. Even though it's all bullshit and lies, they just say it and they shout it loud enough and it gets heard. And it's a real shame that has such power it still has such power. TalkSport gets so many listeners. It's unbelievable, man. Soham, you've joined as a member. Let me know where you're watching from, buddy. Ian, let's have a look. Let's hope this is correct. It's my wife's birthday today. Her name is Lisa. Happy birthday, Lisa. Our 11th wedding anniversary on Saturday. My chat line was, what football team do you support? And she said United. Well, that's a risky game, Ian. It might have worked out there, but I'll say 8 out of 10 times that probably won't work. In fact, I'll say 9 out of 10 times. They do thrive on controversy, but sod them. Let's move on to Rashford. I want to speak about Rashford. This is what Chris Wheeler is saying from the Daily Mail. Now, Chris Wheeler, as I said, Chris Wheeler is somebody who's really gained some credibility over the last. He was the one who first came out and said that Ronaldo refused to come on as a sub before the story broke in The Athletic an hour later. And during the summer, I don't know what sources Chris has gained over this last year, but it seems like they are pretty spot on. So fair play to him. But he's saying that Manchester United intend to do this with Rashford. They intend to extend his contract. So basically, Rashford, I think Rashford, Dalot, and De Gea are 3 players at Manchester United right now who will be free agents in the summer, but United have the ability to activate a 1-year contract extension. And I think what he's saying here is that Manchester United will do that. Instead of letting Rashford speak to other clubs, because, of course, if you're a free agent in January, that means you're allowed to speak to clubs outside the Premier League. United are going to make sure that can't happen. Let's go up here. And I thought this is a pretty prevalent article that was released by James Ducker. He said that Marcus Rashford is back smiling. Well, he's not the only one back smiling. No, it's not you. Yeah, there he is. Everyone's smiling. So Rashford back smiling, and there's a hint of a swagger to his game again. And I would agree with that. And I tell you what, if you've looked at Rashford in the build-up to everything this season, he was there training hard with a personal trainer before preseason started. When preseason began, he looked a little bit fitter and sharper. He was a couple of weeks ahead of everybody else. And still, we've questioned what Marcus Rashford is doing in terms of his finishing. And in those last 2 games, Marcus Rashford, he's taken it somewhere else, isn't he? I think Marcus Rashford, these last 2 games, those last 2 goals, they were proper like world-class headers, which I didn't really think that Rashford had in his game. I think Gary Neville said the same thing. I said, I've not really seen Rashford do that before. So he must have been working on that in training. And he spoke about it after the game. And he said, I wasn't in the right mind space I struggled last year mentally. I wasn't in the right headspace. I couldn't really. And if Rashford was thinking like that, Rashford is Mr. Manchester United. He really is. Loves playing for the club. Academy product. He takes a lot of pride in playing for Manchester United. And even he was getting sucked down by the negative atmosphere that surrounded the club inside and out last year. Last couple of games, it looks like he's kind of turned the corner a bit. And I think he's definitely going to go on that plane to the World Cup. Jadon Sancho, on the other hand, is not going to. I think he's used this opportunity to sort of take it up a level, especially with Ronaldo fading and with Martial being injured. We needed someone to step into that mold. And I'm happy. I'm really happy for Marcus Rashford that he's done that. He's shown a new side to his game in the last couple of games that we didn't think he had with the headers. He's been clinical with his finishing. Not perfect, of course not perfect, but we need Rashford scoring goals, man. We need Martial back fit and scoring goals. We need Cristiano Ronaldo remembering how to find the back of the net on a regular basis. We need goals. It's not as if we've got one strike like last year. Ronaldo, if Ronaldo didn't score, United didn't win. We were so reliant on Ronaldo for goals last year. Bowell said it on the podcast this week. I think United, I think it was out of United's last 10 goals, there have been 8 different goal scorers. And when you think about it, we've had Rashford, we've had Delo, we've had Fred, we've had Casemiro, we've had Ronaldo, we've had, I don't know who else we've had. So many different goal scorers, and it's definitely helping, but we need more of it. He used to just close it. Yeah, man, that's kind of always been a bit of a flaw of Rashford's game, is head down, 100% power, and that's pretty much the only finish he's got. Daisy, you're saying, I think playing him as a centre forward, it gives him a different vision than when he plays on the left. He sees more opportunities. He's so much better on the left, man. I personally think it's because when you're on the left-hand side, it gives him the ability to run at someone with pace. And that's when I think Rashford is most dangerous. When Rashford has time to think and time to look up and time to go, I want to place it here, I don't think that's not the natural style of his football. His style is 100 miles an hour. That's why Solskjaer's counter-attacking team suited him so well. But he's learning. He's adapting. And you're talking about psychological injuries and the mental side of the game. I absolutely stand by what I've always said with Marcus Rashford. I don't think anybody spoke about it enough, about him and Sancho missing those penalties in the World Cup and the impact that it had on them. It doesn't matter that Saka's gone on to shine. It's just because it works with one person doesn't mean it doesn't scar another person in a different way. I think it impacted them massively. If you're looking at the majority of the players that came back from the World Cup that year, I think that season, Declan Rice was one player who really sort of took onward, but Shaw disappeared, Maguire disappeared, Sancho disappeared, Rashford disappeared. So many players' form bottomed out. I think it massively impacted. And I think it's just good to see Rashford smiling again, Martial smiling again, and United smiling again, because we've actually got something to smile about. Mark Rock, how you doing, buddy? Yes, I finally get to join in a live stream and support the channel from all the way in Little England, aka Barbados. Man, I want to go Barbados. My God, that must be beautiful over there. The vandalism of his mural. I don't know. There's lots of things. But he said it. He openly said it. He said he wasn't in the right headspace last season. It's good for him to admit that. And look, let's see what comes next, because I'm really looking forward to seeing what Rashford can do from this point onwards. Now, the World Cup might be bad timing, really, because Rashford's going to get taken away and we don't know what's going to happen there. But Bully, is a good question there, saying, are you doing videos on the World Cup? I'm planning it all now. I will be here every single day during the World Cup. I'm going to be doing sort of daily updates from the World Cup, taking a look at players that we've been linked with, players like Jeremy Frimpong, players like Gonzalo Lopez, players that I think we should be looking at and speaking about them on a day-to-day basis. So make sure you do join in. The community won't go quiet for a month. It'll just be a different type of content. And of course, we've got, we'll speak about this now. Man United are in action during December after it's been confirmed that we've got a winter training camp and 2 friendlies. We've got one against Cadiz on the 7th of December. This is, of course, for the players who won't be traveling to the World Cup. There's going to be plenty of them. Hopefully Martial. Sancho won't be going, and there's lots of others too. But I think United are going to have a second game as well. We'll play a friendly match against Cadiz. The match against Cadiz will be the first of 2 to be played during the mid-season break. So we don't know what the second one's going to be, but it'll be after the 7th of December. So I think this is a smart idea. It's a good idea for from Erik Ten Hag. Keep these players training, keep these players as fit as possible, because the last thing we need is a big, big drop-off. Is a big, big drop-off. Stephen here, he wasn't in the right headspace. He got involved in everything else off the field and forgot what he was paid to do. It's such a lazy thing to say, Stephen. It really is. It's like pointing the finger at someone, saying that you're the problem. You got selfish for what? Fucking helping kids get fed. Shit. What he did off the pitch was incredible. Did it affect him on the pitch? We can only assume whether or not, and an assumption is a dangerous game. But Rashford coming out and saying he wasn't in the right headspace, yeah, maybe he got the balance wrong. And that's his way of admitting it. Let's not go out there starting to point the fingers at people. Weird. Let's not do that. Not against our own players, man. That's not a good thing. My point here, happy to see Rashford back smiling. Happy to see United heading in the right direction. Daniel watching from Brazil. Look at that. Big up to you, man. But look, let's move on quickly to the next talking point. I thought this was a really, really interesting stat that was released. It was talked about by United Arena. And this really shows the what should I say? The improvement in Manchester United. This is really, of all the things that I would make up. Imagine thinking that I would make up the fact that I was asked to go on TalkSport. Do you know how shit a lie that would be? If I'm going to lie, I'm going to make a good lie up, because that is a dead lie. Some people are funny, man. Some people are funny. But look, this one is good. Look at this. In our first 7 games of the season, teams were converting final third possessions to penalty box entries versus us 48% of the time. So that means that every single time the opponent was in our half or in our final third, nearly 50% of the time, they would get into the penalty box. They would be able to create a chance off the back of that possession. And that was the worst in the league. And in the last 5 games, that's gone down to just 33%. The best in the league. Now that really is, in terms of the improvement in our defense, that really is absolutely, we've gone from the worst in the league to the best in the league. That is a fucking momentum shift and a half. So it now means that of all the times that opponents are in our final third, they're on the edge of the box, they're on the outside of the box. Of all of those times and occasions, only 33% of the time does that ball actually go into our box in terms of a dangerous possession. That really is fantastic. And that's down to every single one of the players in this team. What we are looking here at is a team that's defending as, and it's something that Ten Hag keeps reiterating. Training as a full 11. Training as a full 11, defending as a full 11. And that's what United are doing. It's not just Dalot and Martinez and Maguire was good in the second half against West Ham, or Lindelof or Varane or Shaw or De Gea. It's everybody. But I tell you one player, it definitely is. I know I keep waxing lyrical about how much I love Lisandro Martinez, but I really... It's not, I don't care about being proven right, but I've spoken until I was exhausted over these last few years about how United need somebody whose natural inclination is to defend, whose natural capabilities revolve around winning the ball back, protecting the defense, protecting the team. Now, everything is part of it. This stat is not just about Casemiro. This stat is a culmination of a lot of hard work. Erik Ten Hag getting these players drilled properly. Every single one of these players, from De Gea to Dalot to Shaw to Martinez to Varane to Maguire, everybody collectively playing as a team unit. I'll tell you what, Casemiro has played a big, big part of that too. And it's good to see. As I said, Smiles on our faces down here. Smiles on our faces over there. And this sort of shit is why these players are smiling. They're seeing that this is a different United team, that we are heading in the right direction as a football club, finally, after years in the shadows. I'll tell you what, let's have a little bit of a debate here this morning. Because Manchester United have released the Player of the Month nominees. And there are 4 nominees. So we'll have a conversation down here in the comments, and then I will put in, I think am I logged in? Make sure I'm logged in. Go out there. Yeah, right. So we can do this together. So everybody in the comments, you can fire in who you think is Player of the Month. And we go over here, we look at the 4 candidates. We've got Casemiro there. We've got Lisandro Martinez. We've got Rashford. And we've got Diogo Dalot. And I tell you what, this really, really, I would say this is the hardest Player of the Month I think we've had in a long time. And that is the greatest compliment I can give this team. Normally, there's a proper standout one, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's obviously this player. But you're looking here, and I think you could fairly have arguments for Casemiro, Martinez, not quite Rashford, compared to the others. It's Dalot, it's Martinez, or it's Casemiro, in my opinion. Let me go down here and see what you're saying in the comments. And you're saying, don't even bother. It's Martinez. I'll fight with anyone who disagrees. Quite a lot down here saying that, but look, this is what I mean. Quite a few of you are saying Dalot. Casemiro's getting a few shouts as well. Between Dalot and Casemiro. Right, okay. One thing I would say here before we move on to the next part. I think Casemiro's been utterly brilliant. But I think a lot of the work that Casemiro does, you know, when Carrick was at his prime, I'm not saying that Casemiro and Carrick are the same players because they're not in any way, shape or form. But a lot of the work that Casemiro does correctly is unsung work. Whereas I think with Martinez and Dalot, it's a lot more visible because it's the last line of defense. So I think it's not that Casemiro's a hidden weapon. It's just that I think a lot of what he does kind of goes unnoticed. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to reduce this to 2 people. I'm going to reduce this list to Martinez or Dalot, right? So everybody comment now. Type Martinez or Dalot in the comments. I'll have a look and I'll decide who gets our vote, and then I'll go to the website and we can do a United People's TV Player of the Month vote. I think it's probably between Martinez and Dalot, who both have been incredible. They've really both been incredible. Martinez is setting the tone. He's the catalyst for all the change that's going on. But Dalot, the progress that Dalot has made as a fullback is staggering. Absolutely staggering. It really, really is. I'm not just talking about his performance against West Ham. It's been game after game after game. And I think, as I said, you really could have an argument for both of them. Let's go down here in the comments and see who you're saying. I'll tell you what, maybe it's not as one-sided as you all think it's going to be. Let's go down here. Right. Martinez down there. Dalot. 5, 6, 7 for Dalot there. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got a man crush on Martinez. I've got a serious man crush on Martinez. Look how split it is down here in the comments. I would say this is pretty much 50-50. Martinez, Dalot, Martinez all day. He deserves credit. You see how many comments there are? This is what I mean when I say there's so many comments. I can't always read them all out. Dalot all the way. Oh, this is really hard. I didn't think it would be this close. Butchered, but Dalot did it. I think this is close. Honestly is. But I think Martinez has just got it. And maybe I'm just being a bit selfish there because I want it to be Martinez as well. But I'm going to go for that. Look at that. We'll announce the winner on Thursday. That, as I said, that is a testament to how Manchester United really are right now playing as a team. The fact that it's Martinez, the fact that it's Dalot. Look, there's a comment down here from Sean, which is spot on. Put a poll. Look, I can't really do polls because for poll, I need to open another window, go in there, I can't really do that at the same time as reading all your comments, at the same time as putting all these. I can multitask. I can't multitask that much. So what I need to do is find a set of interactive tools that I can use whilst I'm live on stream together. And if I can find those, then I will start doing polls. I'm going to start doing word clouds on here. It's good. But trust me, I want to do polls, but it's really goddamn hard to multitask with 7 different things. I know you can do it on YouTube, but it's not as easy for me. All right. I'm already multitasking a million times. All credit really goes to Ten Hag for getting a system and a style of play working. Mate, you're spot on. You're absolutely spot on. But as I said, Portugal, saving grace is Cancelo, I think, plays ahead of Dalot. But I don't know who plays left. Cancelo, of course, plays left back for City, so he can play there for Portugal, and he could technically play right back for Portugal, but I don't actually know who their fullbacks are. But I know Cancelo's ahead of him. 1.9k watching, says Mo Salad. Click the button, my G's. Come on, man. Absolutely, please. Give us some advance warning. We can put a poll up on Telegram. Yeah, maybe I should do that, Ant. I need to... I want to find ways to give you more interactive aspects to the stream. I want to start bringing word clouds. I've already been Googling some tools that I can use. I can buy them and bring them in. Apparently, Nuno Mendes is left back for Portugal. Let's find out. But yeah, it's honestly the greatest compliment you can give to the team as it currently stands. The fact that's not it there. That's not it there. Where is it? Is it that one? The fact that there are so many players that you can choose as player of the month. Really is. And I've gone for Lisandro Martinez. And a poll, not a pill. Wow. Pill's something very, very different. Especially depending on what pill you have. I said, my friend. But look, Casemiro. You were speaking about Casemiro there. As I said, I think it's between Dalot and Martinez. And that's my own kind of personal opinion. But Casemiro, trust me, it's not me saying that Casemiro is not being as important. But it's just, I think a lot of the work he does goes unnoticed. And this is what Erik Ten Hag said about him. He said, I call him the cement in midfield. In and out of possession, he makes such a difference and gives the team an extra edge and helps them dominate. He is a top player. And I tell you what, I'm looking forward. I really enjoyed doing that video on Carragher yesterday because I felt it was so long overdue. And Graeme Souness has been spouting shit for months, for years about United. And I've not done a video on him. I'm doing one today. But yeah, Ten Hag said it because he's calling Casemiro Steady Eddie. Man, he's such an irrelevant dude, Graeme Souness. He has to say, Graeme Souness just sounds like an old bloke in a nursing home who just wants to be heard and doesn't like being held in silence. So he just says mad stuff. I don't think he believes what he's saying either. Casemiro has been the cement in this team. He really, really has. Go down here in the comments and see what he's saying. A team full of grunts to a team full of leaders, man. It's mad. It's mad, the transformation that we've had. We really, really is. Casemiro is the extra layer of defense that we needed. Mate, it's true. It's absolutely true. I saw that. I mean, there's every chance he can do it. Fucking 350. Man. Guy's an absolute animal. That's quite good for you, Ian. That made me laugh. He really is just a big can of hot air. Irrelevant hot air. But look, I'm going to wrap this one up for today. I'm still embarrassing myself that I've misspelled Martial, but let me off. I think that's the first time I've ever done it. Proofread your work, ladies and gents and kids. Always proofread. I obviously didn't proofread that. But the podcast is out this week. It's out this morning. Please go and listen to it. As I always say, if you can just take a minute or two out of your day and go over and give it a 5-star review, it really does help. It pushes it up the charts. It shows other United fans, oh, good, this is worth to listen to. And then we can bring in a bigger audience. But thank you very much for tuning in today. Yesterday was all about this guy, Jamie Carragher. Today, it's all about Graeme Souness. And I'm getting it all out of the way because I feel they both deserve the scrutiny and the criticism that I'm going to give them. Right? Absolutely. Martel forgives me. Thank you very much, Martel. Absolute dons. But look, thank you all for joining in this morning, as always. Thank you, everybody who generously donated gifted memberships to the community. An update on the merchandise. It will be out, I hope, within the next 7 days. So the countdown is on. I've been working on this for months, for so long. I can't wait to release it. And I can't wait to release this Souness video I'm going to do today. I enjoyed that one yesterday. I'm going to enjoy this one today. Take it easy, everyone. Especially if your name's Martel.